On this week's edition of WKR Big E, we present to you the Great Cincinnati Steel Cage Turkey Toss. And if anybody gets that reference, I'm honestly going to be surprised. I'm John Renton with my review of WWE Raw, and it's a go-home show for the WWE Draft that starts this Friday and then finishes up next Monday. It's too big for one night, like WrestleMania 36, 37, 38, 39, and likely it's soon going to be what week is WrestleMania. But that's way out in the future where we can see into the future. We got to stop you from breaking up all these teams and these great storylines in the future. We already did that. I know you do that. Man, Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Those lines are forever etched in my head. Thank you very much, Dur, for introducing me to those shows. Hope you're doing well, best friend. Hope you're doing really goddamn well. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this show in the comments, please. So, taking place in Cincinnati, Ohio, and there was some good stuff on the show. It's also more of a holding pattern show with some parts because they're just trying to get to the WWE Draft, where I imagine they're going to take a lot of stars and put them on Fox because Fox paid a whole lot of money to get SmackDown. They're apparently not happy with the ratings, or maybe they are. Who the hell knows? You can't really tell with these dirt sheets, but I wouldn't be too surprised if Fox, that paid out over $1 billion over 5 years, is maybe wanting to juice things up a little bit. So, also USA Network, I imagine, paid quite a bit, and we've got NBC Universal paying quite a bit to put WWE on the cock. You know, the Extreme Cock Rules pay-per-view just happened. You know, where they cocked up the ending of that. Check out my Extreme Rules pay-per-view review if you'd like, because I went off on some stuff and actually had fun praising some of it. Anyway, we get recaps of, well, the stuff that led us to Lashley versus Big E kicking off the show. And card rundown, they're in Columbus. Missed it by that much. I mean, whatever, this happens. At least it wasn't like saying, join us next time on WWE Dynamite. That JR's never going to live that down. Even though JR's got a wealth of shit that he's done really well, WWE Dynamite is what it is. Anyway, the champion's out first, and Lashley looks very focused. So fucking focused. Oh no, that means he's going to lose. Lashley versus Big E, WWE Championship match. They're kicking us off because they're really trying to get every viewer to just stick around. Maybe just watch split screen or something, because Monday Night Football is fucking destroying them, just throttling them, just beating their backfield, whether it's in motion or not. I lost my train of thought there. So let's move on to Lashley just glomming him early and often, just doing some really good stuff, and then Big E with a nice belly-to-belly suplex, and we go to break. And they do the picture-in-picture stuff. Stick with the action and picture-in-picture. Man, Excalibur really likes yelling that. Well, actually, JR also says restaurant quality picture-in-picture. So anyway, Lashley, is continuing to dominate Big E, just grinding down on Big E. This is maybe his final chance to deep throat Big E, so I'm just going to continue to pervert these lines slowly like I always do. And Big E does fire back. We do get the spear through the ropes. And then suddenly Shelton and Cedric show up in Hurt Business gear, like the breakup that was, about 6 months ago never happened. It was a really stupid idea, by the way, to break up the Hurt Business. Really stupid idea. I don't know why they did that, because there would have been no reason to break up the Hurt Business, because Shelton and Cedric had this feud for absolutely no reason. Well, they teamed up and then they had this feud for no reason. It went nowhere. Led to really bad promos on Cedric's side, because Cedric is not a natural promo. When you overly script somebody that's not good on promos, you get what he was doing. Overacting. And it wasn't good. Also, you shouldn't have broken up the goddamn Hurt Business. This is proof of that. And so what happens is Big E gets hit with the spear. Well, then Kofi and Xavier show up, and we get a DQ because they glom in. I smell a 6-man tag. Holla, holla, holla. Oh, wait. Adam Pearce is saying, no, it will not end like this. We're going to end this in a solid steel cage. I'm sorry, that was Bruce Pritchard when he went to Impact Wrestling, and they had him as an on-air authority figure. It's no wonder the 2017 was a rough year for Impact, despite some of the great talent they had, because Bruce fucking Pritchard, who should have never been born. I'm just going to say that right now. So anyway, steel cage, and the crowd looks up. Man, what's that steel cage doing up there? Oh, I get it. And then we go with Erica the Viking Raiders. You know, the one that's married to Sarah Logan. That has questionable views, shall we say. I wish nothing but the best for their kid, but that kid's fucking doomed from the start. Eric and Thybar. I might as well just say it like that, because he's always eating the turkey legs. He just loves ingesting meat while people watch. I mean, there are people that get paid good money for that. Men and women and alike and whatever. And sometimes he can pay a man and a woman to ingest meat in front of you. Just don't ask me how I know that, and always delete your search history. So, he takes on Hector Garza. I'm sorry, Angel Garza, because, I can't help it. Hector Garza on the brain there, because Hector Garza with a hell of a goddamn talent. But Angel Garza, obviously a relation. And Humberto Carrillo, who looks like Taylor Lautner mixed with Ricky Martin. Almost said Ricky Starks, but Ricky Martin. And I can't unsee it. And this was going to be his abduction, because I think he's going to get abducted to SmackDown. They're going to split this team up, or they're going to put him on SmackDown. There's potential to rearrange the furniture. And by the way, that's what the draft is. It's just rearranging the furniture, taking these people and moving them over here, and doing this stuff and everything, and doing all that. And guess what it does? It doesn't solve the problem of Vince McMahon being way out of touch and being unable to really be invested in putting together quality programming, because Vince McMahon hasn't given a shit, because yes, it's about making money. It's not about putting smiles on people's faces anymore. It's simply about making money, which, yes, the whole point of wrestling is to make money. But if you get to the point where all you're doing is making money, then the product feels hollow. So anyway, this match, I don't know why it happened. It's new with wings clipper for 3. That's basically what it is. He hits the new with wings clipper. And there we go. And it's a heavy flow day for them. And I'm just going to gross every single... woman that's watching my show, about all 3 of you will probably not appreciate those jokes, because I have a massive swing of, guys that watch my show. That really sounded a lot less dirty in my head, and there are a few women. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, by the way, and dealing with my grossness. And if you haven't been able to deal with my grossness, then I don't know how the hell you're still watching some 6 minutes in. So, we get recast of the Alexa Charlotte stuff. Apparently, Alexa is taking time off. I want to say right now, while I don't care for the Alexa character, if this is the way to just give her a break, if she's dealing with stuff, if she needs a break, if she's got injuries or she's got personal stuff she's dealing with, then hopefully she can go away and she can do what she needs to do. If they're just giving her time off because they have nothing for her, because they realize they've wrung every bit of bullshit out of this goddamn doll shit and all this stuff, then maybe, regardless of the reason, I just hope that Alexa's going to be alright. But you know what? I'm not going to miss seeing the character on camera. Because despite the fact I really didn't mind Charlotte versus Alexa Extreme Rules last night, I hated the freaking doll stuff and the doll stuffing and everything, and her scooping up the remains and everything, like, Chris did with Daniel and everything, before he realized what he did and he dropped the pillowcase and, man, this is going well. So anyway, Reggie does his entrance and then we go to break. Then Ricochet versus Reggie for the 24/7 championship. Well, people wanted Ricochet to get more championship shots, and unfortunately, this was the best they could do. The Spearman Championship. Flippy shit. With Gulak, Maverick, and Truth, the 24/7 mob is what they're called. This is stuff that people get paid to come up with. This is not good shit. They caused a DQ, by the way, by attacking both of them. Reggie escapes, Tozawa's in the ring, and it's embarrassing. Why the fuck is this happening? And I think that all of these guys are talented. I think Tozawa's talented. Drake Maverick, despite how small he is very talented. I think Truth he's a phenomenon. Phenomenon. A medical phenomenon, mainly because he still moves the same as he did in 2001. And he's nearly 50. The guy's in phenomenal shape. Drew Gulak, tremendous wrestler. And Reggie, I gotta say this, I've enjoyed what Reggie has done. I hate the 24/7 championship stuff, but the guy's got charisma, he's got a physical presence, and he can do some exciting stuff. I just hate 24/7 shit. Anyway, so Riddle has no idea where he's at. I'm convinced of that. Orton was at home. Okay, probably preparing to be part of the Royal Rumble that's going to be taking place in St. Louis. Dear God, if they have Randy Orton win the Royal Rumble, that's going to be embarrassing. It was bad for him to win it in 2017. And I knew they were going to have it happen, but it was really dumb. So, Styles and almost show up, and scene. That's it. By the way, Tozawa's still in the ring. Why? He demands a rematch. Why did they go to break during this while the commentary team was pitching to something? Tozawa, he demands a goddamn match. Also, we got a Road to the Top ad. I can't even escape that goddamn stupid undeserving twat and Brandy Rhodes when I'm not on any channel that gets AEW programming. So anyway, Tozawa demands a match. And it's Keith Bearcat Lee. Okay, I know it's dedicated to Bearcat, right? And great historical stuff. Keith Lee understands professional wrestling. He is really a natural at it. He was trained by Killer Carl Cox and did a nice little tribute to him, talking about how, I believe after he became a double champion, talking about his trainer, because I think he died just right after that. And Keith Lee is well-spoken and obviously respects wrestling. There's nothing wrong with honoring Bearcat right. The thing is Bearcat Lee just doesn't quite fit. That's my opinion. I don't think it fits. Now, if this is something he's cool with, that's fine. But Bearcat, I'm just picturing now that they're going to have him, dressed up as the Bearcat for Halloween. A giant Bearcat. Just, if you've seen what a Bearcat is, it's not exactly a fearsome creature. It's not like necessarily cuddly, it's just not fearsome. Like, this doesn't strike me as intimidating wrestler. And if he starts doing the Bearcat meow stuff, he starts doing that, I just fucking let him go to AEW or New Japan or something like that. By the way, it was a glum, and the Bearcat BBC, Keith's BBC, keeps any man down for the 1, 2, 3. It also keeps me, moving on from that, it says BBC keeping everybody down. Let me tell you right now, when you take a pounding from some man's BBC, you are just going to stay flat whether you like it or not. You might stay up, you might not. Whatever you're into. I'm not here to kink shame much. And we get to recaps of the U.S. title 3-way. And then we have Damian Priest with a pre-tape, or a Priest tape, rather. Rox, were you fine watching Damian Priest in this match? Rox is cool. Anyway, so we cut to New Day, and Big E says he will destroy Lashley. And then Sheamus says that this is right up his alley. Ouch. And Damian Priest and Sheamus took on each other in a U.S. title match. No countouts, no DQ, there must be a winner. Okay. So Extreme Rules was just a day ago. Why didn't you just have this be an... Why didn't you have the 3-way be an Extreme Rules match? Why didn't you have the 3-way be a street fight or something? A ladder match. Well, maybe not a ladder match, but a tables match. Something. Now you put this on 24 hours later, proving that Extreme Rules as a concept doesn't need to exist. Have the occasional Extreme Rules match, when a feud calls for it. Drop the concept, bring something back. Bring back Vengeance. Bring back Vengeance. That was a pretty cool name. Granted, they kind of had to, move away from that, after Vengeance Night of Champions became the noted pay-per-view that, well, no, was it Vengeance? It was Vengeance, actually, where, it was a pay-per-view that Benoit was supposed to show up for, and he didn't, because he was taking care of his family. Literally. So anyway, Priest pulls his thick wood out in the form of a table. Stop, get your minds out of the gutter, I run a clean show. White noise through the table. 2 men, a thick Caucasian Irish man, and a tall, New York, Puerto Rican man getting wood all over their backs. I usually have to pay a massive premium to see that, but sometimes you can pay it, and man, you don't have to pay them all that much, because some people will just do it for $50. I'm laying people in on a whole lot of shit that I'm into. So, kendo sticks and just thick men slapping into each other, which is something I certainly like. And, well, the welts go both ways, gentlemen. I need a woman that will treat me like that. Anybody know a woman out there that will treat me like that? Moving on. Not one that I have to pay for. Again. So we get the chair post spot. Easy for me to say. Chair to the head. And then Priest, he's firing up and everything. He's like, I'm going to do this. And he didn't do it like that. Knee strike for close 2. And then the table spot to Sheamus. And he said he would eventually taste the table and feel the reckoning. It's a reckoning, but whatever. Damian Priest gets a victory. Fisting the lights. Fist the lights or the rectomy. I'm just going to call them either one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, Damian Priest retains in a pretty good match that should have taken place on the pay-per-view. Jeff Hardy is talking to Mansoor and Ali because Ali's like, well, you know what I would say to that painted up guy if he was here? What would you say, Ali? And Jeff Hardy should never cut promos, ever. Jeff Hardy probably shouldn't talk until he learns how words work because, my God, the inflections were ridiculous. It's one thing to do horrible shit like I'm doing on a YouTube video. This is on a cable broadcast. Jeff Hardy's been doing this for a while. He's been doing this for so goddamn long that he was still underage when he was wrestling on WWE Raw and getting tossed around by Razor Ramon. So, Mansoor does Jeff Hardy's dance moves and stuff like that. We get Jeff Mansoor and Ali versus Jinder and Co. Beer and Shanky. Shanky! This is fine. Now it was actually a mess because Jinder and Co. Why should I care? Ali got pinned. One funny line. Beer has $1 million arm, says Corey Graves. That still doesn't make up for the numerous bullshit commentary lines that he said. That was English. The numerous bullshit that Corey has spewed out over the goddamn years on Twitter and on commentary, but that was pretty goddamn funny. Also so goddamn on the nose that I think that somebody just snorted it. So anyway, Cross's devil's advocate speech, and he's talking, and he's not telling anybody something they don't already know. And then he's suddenly Lord Humongous again, taking on the Jackson Rectionist. Vince McMahon should be brought up on massive criminal charges for subjecting us to this. That's all I have to say about that. I do not need to see Lord Humongous and the Jackson Rectionist on my television screen, especially facing each other. This is fucking embarrassing. Why is Riker a babyface? Genuine question. He's not even that good in the ring. He's got horrible fucking views. He probably wishes he was part of the January 6th riots. And I don't care if people want to get fucking upset about that. Because people need to be held accountable regardless. Because we need to make sure we come together as a people. And that can only be when we expose the goddamn bullshit that keeps happening, and a bunch of people that want to just pretend that something didn't happen. And Jackson Riker's also a piece of shit, and hopefully his wife and children leave him, and he ends up alone, afraid, knowing nobody ever loved him. Nobody with a brainstem, at least. And also, congratulations to Lord Humongous and Scarlett on their engagement. So, yeah, I think Cross won this. Yeah, Cross did win this. I don't care. Sonya then is talking to Adam Pearce, and suddenly Piper shows up. That's her name. Piper Niven is her name. And she says, how about I face Charlotte? Because Charlotte had an open challenge. Okay, yeah, sure, you'll do that. And Sonya also took a shot at Naomi, saying, well, at least you deserve to be here, unlike Naomi. Great, the Fox mandates are carrying over, where Fox doesn't want people like Naomi on their show. You know Fox would say that because they have Fox Aryan Nation. Moving hastily on from that, here's Riddle, who he's already lost, completely lost. What are the birds thing? What is happening? Lashley says that he will beat the WWE champion tonight. He will either climb out of the cage, or he'll beat Big E down so bad and then ask the referee to open the door. Okay, whatever. So they don't want nuns. They don't want nuns. I saw a nun. I saw the nun, and it opened up. Valak. Anyway, Styles with Almost versus Riddle. Cool. Again, forever. Forever and a day. Forever. Forever. You'll be in my heart, and my God, this match will not end forever. Forever. And I'm butchering another song. And moving on from that. Yeah, Burning Hammer Variation Styles Clash 1, 2, 3. Was it well wrestled? Yes. Yes, it was. Even though I completely butchered that. But guess what? I've seen too many variations of it, and I didn't care. So we get recaps of Nia being written off. Hopefully forever. Nobody wants to see Nia Jax back. She never deserved to be in the goddamn wrestling business to begin with. Thank you, Dwayne. Anyway, Shayna was playing with her full deck while Sarah watches. Sarah looked really hot tonight. But no, seriously, at least Sarah has some personality when she does this. And Sonya, she's back to being NXT Sonya without being the champion. Here's the thing. They botched it a lot when she was the long-term champion in NXT. They had a chance to make it work, and there were flashes of making it work, and the title reign just got ridiculous. Now, she doesn't need to be the champion. She could just go on a tear and destroy people, and she becomes a champion, have it be for 6 months, and then have her lose it. That's all they need to do. They just need to feature Sonya. They need to feature Shayna like this. I mean, they could feature Sonya like this also, but featuring Shayna like this makes more sense. So we get Piper versus Charlotte for the Raw Women's Championship. This match barely gets started before Eva Marie's music hits, and Piper gets distracted enough to get clipped and then hit with the natural selection 1, 2, 3. And then Eva got laid out by Charlotte. Cool. I don't know what the point of this was. And then Goldberg has a sit-down interview, basically talking about how Gage is his son. In case you didn't know that, Goldberg has a son. He only said it about 80 million times here. And says that he's going to kill Lashley for what he did to his son. You know, you don't need cameras there for what somebody did to your son. I mean, Benoit had... Anyway, moving on from that. I'm just going to continue to say these things and just needle people about it because I don't care. It's how I deal with tragedy. Goldberg versus Lashley in Saudi Arabia confirmed. That's what we need to fucking see. Goldberg, who's probably going to be winded before he's even off the flight. So... hey, he's getting paid. Good for him. Eva's in there and has a mic. And you know what? That right there is a freaking crime against humanity. That's a crime against ears. That's a crime against anybody that has any kind of hearing. Nobody wants to hear Eva Marie talk. And Shayna comes out and just brutalizes her. I mean, just destroys her. Does the same thing. Busts her arm in the steps. And yes, I know it's kayfabe, but one more time chance. And you know what? Shayna looked like she was about to do it. They should have chanted, you deserve it. I really hope this is the way to just write Eva Marie off of television. Release her. Get rid of her. She never deserved to come back. I don't care if she protected wrestling, when, Mia, a pile of leftover Arby's roast beef left out in the sun, Khalifa, decided to knock wrestling. Mia doesn't deserve to be any kind of attention beyond, being made fun of for being a twat that she is. But speaking of twats, guess what? Eva Marie also is. She's a goddamn brain-dead twat. So's her stupid husband. She can go back to having views as far as kneeling at the national anthem and probably being a not very smart person otherwise. Eva Marie is an embarrassment to professional wrestling and hopefully will not be back on television. So anyway, Sarah interviews Rhea and Nikki. Super brutality. By the way, Nikki Ash. Super brutality. Super brutality. I can't really do that. It's like... she's enemies as superhero. How do you feel about blue? So anyway, Lashley versus Big E for the steel cage. Or for the steel cage. They're going to fight on the WWE Championship for the steel cage. Whoever wins, wins the steel cage. Makes as much sense as anything else. 2 matches are already more extreme than about anything else we got on the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. And no rope breaks that absolutely made no goddamn sense. And no demon lighting bringing people back to life. That was stupid. Monumentally stupid. So Lashley attacks and battle outside the cage and barricade spot. And Lashley stepped it up by hitting him with the steps. And then the draft is this Friday, as I said before. And then back from break, Big E says, start the match. So they throw each other into the wall repeatedly. Good back and forth action. Big meaty men slapping into each other. Dragon Sleeper went, oh boy, that looked really bad, where Big E's kind of getting like draped over the top. That looked kind of bad. And then Cedric and Shelton stopped Big E from escaping. Everybody is supposed to be kept out of the steel cage. That never works. We knew it wasn't going to work. Xavier slams the door on Lashley's head. Kofi hits I think actually Xavier hit a nice super kick on Cedric, I believe. And then they glom Shelton. Kofi does a trust fall off of the cage. They go to break. Back to one-on-one. Superplex. More moves. More glomming. Big ending for 2. And later, big ending off of the ropes for 3. And Big E wins. Okay, so Lashley's probably going to SmackDown. That's pretty definitive. Maybe he'll go to NXT actually and do something. You know what? Lashley in NXT, I would actually pop for. He could be Ciampa. Give me Lashley versus Rex Steiner. That's his fucking name. Anyway, I'm going to come up with exceedingly dumber names, by the way, as far as, the NXT roster, because if they're going to come up with stupid shit, I'm going to come up with worse shit. So, Big E is celebrating, and then suddenly Drew appears on, bad remake of Suddenly Susan, suddenly shows up and decides to point his lengthy sword right at Big E. It's going to be the big ending versus Drew's sizable sword. Okay, whatever. Is what is. Let's just move on from that. Let's hope the draft actually leads to something, but until they get a leadership change, until a sale happens or whatever, or Vince decides to delegate to somebody that's actually intelligent that can run a goddamn show, there's no way it's going to be anything other than rearranging the furniture in the house. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.